What is up, everybody? This is Alex from IHE TV.
What do you mean he didn't like one battle after another? What do you mean?
So today I'm going to watch Ben Shapiro's review of One Battle After Another, the latest Paul Thomas Anderson movie. As I'm recording this, probably one of my favorites of the year, only beaten out by War of the Worlds, of course. He's been reviewing movies for a while now. Failed screenwriter Ben Shapiro, who doesn't really seem to be talking about movies because he likes the idea of them. It's more to push some kind of political ideology. He did it with Barbie, he did it with Superman. I'm sure there are others. I'm guessing he's going to characterize the movie as, I don't know, leftist propaganda, even though I would argue that the movie is less interested in taking an overt political side as much as it is interested in the human side of the characters that should be entertaining to you whether you lean left or right politically. And honestly, this film has the capacity to piss off anyone on the left or the right, depending on how you interpret certain elements of the story. So I assume this will include some spoilers, so make sure you watch the movie first, unless you don't care. Super corny that he has his book in the frame of his own movie review. Lions and Scavengers, a true story of America. I looked at it on Amazon, and of course he reads his own excerpt. It's funny.
And weavers who build, defend, and maintain the greatest civilization in the history of mankind against...
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. All right, let's see.
The lion does not concern himself with one battle after another.
Alrighty, folks, today we're going to be reviewing the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, One Battle After Another, that many
Nice. Awesome. Love that music.
in the critical community is saying is the best movie of the year. Nay, the best movie in 5 years, 10 years, maybe in all of human history.
Is anyone saying that? It's a really good movie.
This video is sponsored by our friends at ExpressVPN.
Yeah, of course it is, my friend, of course.
Alrighty, so let's go through this movie. First of all, not good. Do not
Not good.
like, bad.
Do not like bad.
Direction is top tier because it's Paul Thomas Anderson, meaning it's
Okay, at least you can praise the direction. Let's be fair.
a beautiful looking film. It moves quickly.
These are all kind of a big deal, right? It's like nearly 3 hours long.
The music is actually quite good. The score is by Johnny Greenwood, who I'm not sure what else he has done.
What? Oh, he's from this little indie band. Not many people have heard of it. It's called Radiohead.
Actually, but I thought that the score was effective. I believe he did There Will Be Blood, so it's kind of a
Score's amazing. Johnny Greenwood's a master composer.
spare but effective score by Johnny Greenwood. The cinematography is beautiful. There is a car chase scene near the end that is well choreographed,
I don't know why they're adding the slow-mo.
and the movie sucks because the writing's bad, okay? So the entire premise of the movie, it's based on a Thomas Pynchon novel called Vineland, and when I say based on, I mean loosely related to. The basic idea of One Battle After Another, the basic plot, again, all of the names here are supposed to be on the nose, sort of slightly surrealistic,
Yeah, it's a political satire.
but they're not good. Like Perfidia Beverly Hills, because it turns out that she's perfidious. Get it? Like Perfidia. The first scene in the movie is them raiding an ICE facility to free illegal immigrants, which turns out to be sort of the running theme here, is that revolutionaries, what they really do is they fight the system in order to allow unchecked migration into the United States. Why? Because they need to defeat white nationalism, white Christian nationalism. That's the basic politics of the film. So, Perfidia Beverly Hills.
That's not the basic politics of the film. He's glossing over like huge swaths of what the film is saying.
She is obsessed with revolutionary violence, and also she is wildly sexually promiscuous. And so the opening scene involves her, how shall we put, asking Sean Penn's character, he's the villain, who is Colonel Stephen
Awesome villain. One of the best characters of the year. What a freaky dude.
Lockjaw. I kid you not, again, these names are bad. And who is a white supremacist. He's commanding the ICE facility.
Whatever.
The opening scene is her asking him to get up, but not like to his feet. And so you get a very long shot of his crotch as he is turned on by this radical Black Panther-like terrorist. And so it turns out that he becomes obsessed with her. And so he ends up tracking her down. He lets her go after she agrees to go to a motel and have sex with him. For some reason, she keeps that commitment, which is strange. Anyway.
But the character is framed as... Everyone is framed as very flawed in the film. She's not framed as like a hero. She's like part of what sets the story in motion as far as she like rats out the revolutionary characters.
She has like a BDSM relationship with Lockjaw. So she's bombing things with Leonardo DiCaprio, and she's getting pregnant by Sean Penn, who's playing this uptight white Christian nationalist who is turned on by black female revolutionaries.
You're not supposed to know that he's the dad yet. That's supposed to be one of the mysteries throughout the film.
Get it? Because white Christian nationalists really, they have a sadomasochistic relationship with black female revolutionaries. In any case, she gets pregnant. There's a shot from the film that you've seen of her very heavily pregnant, firing off what looks like an M4. And the idea is she's a true revolutionary, right?
That's not the idea.
Freedom is in her belly. And at one point she says that the gun is for fun, but her genitalia, that is for fighting. She ends up being caught in the middle of a bank robbery. And she gives up the group in order to go free. And then she is supposed to go into witness protection, and instead she escapes to Mexico. You never see her again for the rest of the movie, so that's just kind of left open. And
what? That's what makes it cool.
anyway, fast forward 16 years. Her husband, Ghetto Pat Calhoun, calls himself Bob, and he's a loser who smokes weed all day. And he is raising the person he thinks is their daughter, but who is actually the daughter of this white nationalist colonel. They're
Again, you're not really supposed to know that fully yet. So it's a story about fatherhood first and foremost. It's not trying to push a political agenda, no matter what Ben Shapiro tries to tell you.
living in a sanctuary city called Backton Cross. And Willa, his daughter, this is the daughter, she is a spirited teenager who, as it turns out, is into revolutionary violence along with some of her gender non-binary blue-haired friends.
She's like an innocent character. She's kind of a tragic character, the way she's thrust into the situation and is the true victim of the many battles that follow each other after another.
And there are a couple of jokes here at the expense of the gender non-binary blue-haired friends, but mostly at the expense of out-of-touch old Bob, who doesn't understand why somebody would be gender non-binary. And there are
Oh, come on. He's such a stickler.
couple of humorous moments where Bob, again Leonardo DiCaprio, he is trying to call into the revolutionary group, because what happens is that Stephen Lockjaw is trying to join a white nationalist group, a white Christian nationalist.
How's he going to come up with a way to be offended by the Christmas adventurers or whatever they're called?
This group called the Christmas Adventurers Club. I know, this is so stupid. The whole thing's it's such a stupid movie.
That's the point, mate. That's the entire point of it. But like, listen, Ben Shapiro the kind of guy to like see something based on reality and say it's bad writing, because, well, isn't the head of the KKK called the Grand Wizard, for fuck's sake? It's like equally as absurd.
It's so dumb. Okay, and they
It's
decide
supposed to be dumb. Like, that is the joke. Like, how seriously they're taking that absurd concept.
they're not going to let him in because
And how it applies to reality, because we also live in an absurd reality.
he might have a black daughter. And so he decides he's going to track down the black daughter and kill her so he can get into the white Christian nationalist club. As one would. He decides to lead a raid on Backton Cross, the sanctuary city, to track down, in reality, his daughter. Meanwhile, Bob is looking for his daughter, and
They don't know who the dad is yet, biologically. That's like one of the big tense scenes later in the movie.
in order to find his daughter, he ends up teaming up with Benicio del
Oh, awesome. God, he's such a good character.
Toro, who plays a
How's he gonna have an issue with Benicio?
karate teacher and community leader named Sergio St.
Oh,
Carlos,
because he's in like an immigrant city and he's like protecting them.
who's a sensei, and who again is funny in a sort of oddball kind of Wes Anderson kind of way. Everything Benicio del Toro plays now is like too cute by half. So anyway,
Oh, come on.
he's the leader of an underground railroad for illegal immigrants who are all staying in this facility nearby and who are also engaged with skateboarding terrorists straight out of the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. And
Dude.
he's the big hero, is Benicio del Toro, who's going to help out Bob, but also help out the illegal immigrants while this raid is going on. Colonel Stephen Lockjaw, who's with the daughter, decides that he can't kill the daughter himself. Apparently that is beyond his scruples. And so he decides that he is going to hand her off to a Native American bounty hunter named Avanti Q. So Avanti Q, who's this Native
So
American
he's just doing a plot recap, basically. What do you think of the actual movie?
murderer, but it says he won't kill the daughter. So Stephen Lockjaw says to him, I want you to take the daughter to, wait for it, another white nationalist group like bikers, and they will kill her. And the Native American's like, totally fine. So cool. So he puts her in the back of the car, he drives her there, he gives her up. But don't worry. For all of those who were worried that there might be a person of color in this film who's on the wrong side, no.
What do you mean? What? Perfidia's not framed as being on the quote-unquote right side. She's shown to be extremely flawed.
He ends up turning on the white nationalists when he realizes that the white nationalists are bad people about to kill the black girl. Now, he could have realized that in the car and not dropped her off. But instead, he ends up dying heroically in order to save her by killing the entire white nationalist biker group. Okay, and so he dies. She grabs the car. There's a car chase involving another member of the original Christmas Adventurers Club who's trying to track her down and kill her in order to cover up, I guess, for the fact that Stephen Lockjaw has a biracial daughter. And so the Christmas Adventurers Club guy kills
Why are you acting confused?
Stephen Lockjaw, sort of, but not quite. He shoots him in the face, but he lives. And then Leonardo DiCaprio kills that guy and saves his daughter. And that's the whole film. At the very end.
That's not the whole film. You can't just do a plot recap, gloss over anything that's interesting about it, and then act like it's bad because of that.
Stephen Lockjaw lives, but he goes to the Christmas Adventurers Club, and they effectively euthanize him. They say, we're going to let you in, and they put him in an office, and they gas him to death. And that's the end of the movie, except that you get a tag.
Which is a beautiful end to his arc. It's so, like, awesome. It's a perfect end to that character.
And the tag at the end of the movie is, Willa gets a letter. She's had a letter from her mom that her dad's been hiding. And she reads the letter, and the letter doesn't actually tell her to maybe lead a better life than she led, or to abandon these revolutionary idiots who are accomplishing nothing. Instead, the letter says that she...
By the way, I thought this letter was interesting because I thought, in my interpretation, that it might have actually been written by Leo DiCaprio's character. I need to rewatch it and cement if that's possible or not, but it's just not as, like, cut and dry as he frames these things.
She wishes she had been a better mom, but also she wishes that she had fought the revolution better, and the daughter decides that she too will be a revolutionary, and the end of the movie is Bob, who's now permissive with his daughter, giving her a thumbs up as she goes to perform revolutionary activity. If this sounds like a total mess to you, it's because it is.
Is that the implication?
It is an ideological mess, but it's more than a mess, it's actually quite ideologically bad. The basic suggestion is a conspiracy theory in which the United States is run by white supremacist Christian nationalists, and all people of color and a few nice, incompetent fellow travelers like Bob are going to take on that entire system. And that system must be taken on at the cost of family.
That was really not how I interpreted it at all. I saw it more as like an action political thriller, more concerned about building and maintaining tension with these fascinating characters that you want to see interact with each other.
At the cost of friendship, at the cost of decency, at the cost of basic human capacity for success. It is better, in other words, to be a complete loser who wastes your life bombing things randomly in order...
Leo isn't like framed as like a hero. He's framed as kind of a fuck up. That's where a lot of the humor comes from, because it's like partially a comedy too. It's a lot of different genres. Like a big chunk of the movie is him trying to remember a password from back when he was a revolutionary, because he's like smoked and drunk for so many years. He's like fried his brain, so he can't remember how to do these things anymore. And there's something fun and bumbling and entertaining about that. And his performance is really wild, but I guess he doesn't mention that.
In order to free illegal immigrants to run willy-nilly across the border, than to be like a productive citizen of that society. At no point is that actually...
He wanted him to reform and become like a postman or something. Like what is his issue? He's got such a small myopic lens that he's able to interpret things through.
Actually considered by anyone, by the way. Like just to be a productive citizen of society. Because the society, as we know, is run by white Christian nationalists. So in other words, when I've talked about permission structures, and I've talked about the permission structures for violence that led to, for example,
I feel like getting upset about the Christmas adventurer cult in the film says way more about you than the actual film itself. I think most normal, balanced people see that exactly for what it is.
Murder of Charlie Kirk. And what I've said about those permission structures is that they basically create ideologies. These ideologies
Wait, why was he mentioning Charlie? What?
Structures for violence that led to, for example, the murder of Charlie Kirk.
What the fuck?
And what I've said about those permission structures is that they basically create ideologies. These ideologies are bad because they include three components. One, a conspiratorial view of the universe in which a
This is a crazy review.
shadowy cabal of powerful people are responsible for your problems in life and the problems of the world. Two,
There's also all these things are narrative devices within the film to have the plot move.
belief that your specific group is being targeted. And three, a belief that violence is justified and the problems of the world. Two, a belief that your specific group is being targeted. And three, a belief that violence is justified.
But you believe that your group is being targeted by this film, even though I think a lot of people would disagree with you. I'm going to look in the comments shortly and see.
In self-defense. That's this entire film. This entire film is that. There's a conspiratorial group of white Christian nationalists who are targeting people of color. Those people of color have to band together along with a few moron fellow travelers like Bob in order to take on that conspiracy. And they should bomb things, and they should kill people, and they should do terrible things and say radical things while doing it. I'm in search of subtlety here. I do not understand, honest to God. I do not understand The attempts by some to say that this is a
You do not understand. Yeah, that's very obvious.
subtle movie in any way, it has the subtlety of a brick. There have been some people.
I wouldn't really call the film subtle either, but I wouldn't say it's trying to go for subtle. PTA has subtle films. This ain't one of them. It's part of what's bombastic and crazy and fun about it.
At the Washington Post, for example, in the Washington Post entertainment section, who try to draw a different moral from this. One writer, for example, says, quote, "One battle after another shifts the paranoid nightmare of Nixon-era political extremism to our current powder keg moment in a way that helps us process it. Yes, it could get that bad again, and this is what it would look like. In its most outrageous plot point, a kinky affair between opposite camp radicals."
I think that's an interesting part about it, that it is a story originally written and based around Reagan-era politics, but continues to be prescient and relevant to this day. Is that not interesting?
Anderson brings the horseshoe theory of politics to life. Of course, the wackiest right-winger and the looniest leftist fall into bed with each other. Who else could match their violent intensity? Anderson also offers us hope, though.
But that's storytelling. Like, taking those two extremes and making them have some kind of relationship, that's a powder keg, that's interesting. And that's the plot of the film. Like...
In the calm at the center, the sweet relationship between the chilled-out dad who has lost his political fervor and the teenage daughter who is finding her own capable way. Yeah, except that at the very end, you might think that's where it's going. That's not where it goes. At the very end, it takes a hard left and goes directly into she should be a radical, just like mommy was. Right? So, again, all these writers are trying to find something there that isn't there, or they are softly justifying all of this.
Wait, he doesn't see he's doing the exact same thing.
Well, one writer named Haben Kaladi says in the Washington Post it's about hope. One of the last characters we hear from is Perfidia. Reading from a letter she wrote in exile to her daughter Willa, she asks, "Will you try to change the world like I did?" before adding, "We failed, but maybe you will not," right? That's the line. Maybe you should be a revolutionary. And in the very last scene, a revolutionary daughter is following in her mother's sacrificial footsteps despite everything we've been seeing in the past 3 hours. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like,
yeah, man. Oh my gosh.
Again, you can make excuses for it, but basically the thing's an apologia for radical left-wing terrorism. That's what it is. And
that's wild. I knew that was going to be his take. He's so predictable. Be less predictable, man.
And any attempts to paint it as more complex than that, I think are overdoing it. Alrighty, so there is your review of One Battle After Another.
How's that a review? He starts the video with a conclusion, cherry picks to feed into his already made conclusion. At a certain point, it's like, did you even watch the film? Like, do you just like whip up the Wikipedia plot description and just go through that? It's just such bad faith. Like, I've been rage baited hard by this.
By Paul Thomas Anderson. Again, Leonardo DiCaprio is good in it. He's a good actor. Benicio del Toro, fine.
Fine.
Serviceable.
Taylor is Perfidia. She's a talented actress. It's all fine, except for Sean Penn as Lockjaw, who kind of stinks.
What? He's the best part.
But just a bad movie all around, like Shape of Water style bad movie.
Wait, what? Wait, why is he throwing shade at Shape of Water right now? What's that got to do with this?
Kind of stinks. But just a bad movie all around, like Shape of Water style bad movie.
What? Is that... What are the politics behind Shape of Water that means he doesn't like it? That's... Okay.
It's a little surprising for Paul Thomas Anderson, who's sort of stayed away from the overtly political for...
What? What are you talking about?
A while, and again, I really like some of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies. I think that There Will Be Blood is a terrific film.
Oh yeah, the absolutely apolitical There Will Be Blood. The oil industry in America. What the fuck are you talking about?
Even though, again, I think the politics tends toward the left. It's very anti-religion and also anti-capitalism. And
what? Yeah, and The Master
and
too.
I think The Master is really maybe his best movie, which is about the power of sort of cults and the draw of cults. But this is it's just bad. It's not good. Will this win Academy Awards? It'll win all the Academy Awards because this is what Hollywood wants.
This narrative that like films need to go back to being apolitical. So what are you talking about? What are you on about?
Left-wing agitprop from high-powered directors.
Thanks, Daily Wire. Another banger. Let's look at some of these comments. Oh. Why am I rage baiting myself with this shit? This is what I find so interesting, is that like his own audience doesn't seem to even agree with him with his movie stuff, at least. I don't know about his other videos, not like I watch them. Media literacy is dead. Yeah, here we go. I'm a conservative, but this review is horrible. The film's extremely good, great acting, tension, scenes, music. If we start letting our political stance dictate our opinion on art, time to start throwing out all the Bob Dylan records. Yeah. Ben Shapiro is a real-life member of the Christmas Adventures. He sounds like SpongeBob going through puberty. You'll never be a Christmas adventurer. Wow, so like, are any of these on his side? Ben really has no business reviewing films. He always misses the point because his political blinders are his guiding force. Exactly. Yeah, Ben saying the Christmas Adventurers Club is a stupid name for a white nationalist group, while the most famous real white supremacist group literally call people an exalted cyclops and their leader a grand wizard. That's even crazier than Christmas Adventurer Club, sorry. One of the least curious minds I've ever seen put on display. That's a good way of putting it. Have you even watched the movie? Why was Sensei's subplot there in the first place? How come he was the actual successful one in building a community and stable society as opposed to the two reactionary groups with no seemingly real impact? This is what I mean, he doesn't actually analyze the films, he just does a vague plot synopsis and dunks based on his already concluded ideology. This isn't even a movie review, he just incorrectly read the Wikipedia plot summary. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Ben hates a film, you just know it's a masterpiece. This comment section is awesome. It's nice to know there's some sense out there. Lacking the cognitive flexibility to recognize that a movie is good because you disagree with some of its politics is wild. If you can't determine when this film is a comedy satire and when it has something to say, it's just not for you. I don't think movies are for him. I don't think he likes movies. He's so like politics brain rotted at this point. I could imagine him like if The Big Lebowski came out today, because there's a radical feminist character in it, he'd probably call it like woke trash. And this ongoing issue where depicting something isn't necessarily an endorsement of it. It would be just as absurd as someone who saw the Christmas adventure stuff in this movie and then tried to frame that as if it was a white supremacist movie or something. Just goofy. Not as bad as the Superman review, which was genuinely just like weirdly hateful. I'm gonna go on it because there's a moment in that review that's just like, what the fuck? It's when he talks about Ma and Pa Kent.
His parents, Ma and Pa Kent, in
Here we go.
the original, they are noble and they are wise. They're kind of salt of the earth. Here, they're basically kind of, I don't know, like down home types who don't seem to, they live in a
You mean salt of the earth?
kind of a crappy house. They're the kind of people
What's wrong with their house?
who call the TV the box. They're the kind of folks who are sitting around and you know, kind of scratching their butts. They're purposely cast as ugly and non-noble.
Ugly and non-noble, that is like... What the fuck, dude? This guy's such a dick. I'm gonna leave it there then. Let me know your thoughts on Ben Shapiro's movie reviews. I know, it's just, he's fucking rage bait farming engagement, basically. And he doesn't care about this at all, but whatever. I got some mild entertainment out of it in an ironic way, I suppose. See you on the next video then. Bye!